When Herpawings was still playing around with their old generation aircraft models, StarJets was already making models that could even be competing with today's releases. And with that, welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at the American Airlines Boeing 757-200 from StarJets. At the front of the box we have an image of the aircraft model itself and the American Airlines branding. On the back side of the box we then have the original dimensions of the aircraft itself and the American Airlines branding once again, and also the image of the model once again. And before we get into the review, it is worth mentioning that this aircraft model comes with a stand. And here she is, the Boeing 757-200 from American Airlines in the Astrojet livery. Now, with no further ado, let's take a closer look at some of the many details this aircraft model has to offer. And we start off with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer find the writing of American and also the flag of the United States of America. On the fuselage, we then have the full registration code of the aircraft. And here we come to the first part that I don't quite like on this aircraft model, and that is the horizontal stabilizer. You can see this whole piece has just been slit in from the backside, and it just doesn't look quite nice. But keep in mind that Herpawings was doing the exact same thing, but releasing even this aircraft model, but as an old generation aircraft model with the really ugly landing gear. So that was just a standard at the time. Then in the front of the aircraft across the fuselage we have the writing of American Airlines and the old American Airlines branding. And we do also have a little bit of detailing around the cockpit section, around the cockpit windows, where we for example have the window wipers printed on. The engine nacelles look quite nicely here from the side, where we also of course can see some stylish elements of the livery carried onto those. From the backside they don't look quite so nice. Obviously in a more recent edition that would look much better, but again we have to keep in mind that this is a quite old aircraft model and still far beyond what Herpa was doing at the time. Also, if we look into the front of the engines, we can see the engine fan blades. Also here it could look better, but again for the time that was really quite good. With that we can move on to the wings, because here we also have some very nice details. On the top side of the wings, we have all the different flaps, slats and spoilers carved out very nicely. We have a little bit of different shades of grey, given even more detailing, and we even have the markings for the emergency exits printed on. Also, the underside of the wings look pretty decent. And then we come to the landing gear, and this is of course where this aircraft model was really kicking the Herpa model in the butt. Herpa was releasing the same aircraft exactly as an 1:500 scale model as well, but of course with their old generation landing gear, and this just looks way better than what Herpa could do at the time. This landing gear is made out of metal, which of course is different to what Herpa is doing today, where all their landing gear is, except for the 747 models, is made out of plastic. And then last but not least, we of course shouldn't forget also to mention the doors to the cargo compartments have been printed on here, the backside of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the Boeing 757-200 from American Airlines in the Astrojet livery. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, in some parts this aircraft model can still compete with even modern day releases. In some parts it can't. For example, the horizontal stabilizer, that just doesn't look very nice. But that was the standard at the time. Also, you have to think about it. This exact aircraft was also released as a model by Herpawings, but their model had the old generation landing gear, which looks really ugly. Also, their aircraft model was in matte grey. This is polished metal and looks much nicer, and of course is way more realistic to what the actual aircraft looked like. And we even have details like, for example, the landing lights printed on here. A detail that we don't even get in current releases as a standard by Herpawings. So yeah, in some parts it falls behind on today's standards, but in some parts it's absolutely matching them or even beyond what we get from Herpawings these days. So it's actually a shame to think that StarJets doesn't exist anymore, because if you think about it, what they were producing at that time, what would they be producing today? So I'm really happy to have this aircraft model in my collection. With that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to smash the like button, that really helps us out. If you're new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.